Hi everyone. Today demo is on .NET 6 API sending email using SendGrid NuGet package. Let's create a .NET 6 web API. Here I am using CLI command for creating the project. So the CLI command for creating the project is .NET space new space web API space -o flag means output directory, okay, and name of your project. Okay, let's create the project. Project is successfully created. Let's open my project in Visual Studio Code Editor. So our target framework is .NET 6.0. Now, as a first step, let's install required NuGet packages related to the SendGrid. Okay. So the first package we are going to install is SendGrid. Visual Studio 2022 users copy the command from package manager. CLI copy from here. So copy command, install the package. The second package we have to install is SendGrid.extensions.dependency injection. Copy command, install the package. Now in appsetting.json, development.json, let's create a settings like SendGrid email settings. Okay. Under it, we will add like API key, from email, from name. Okay. We have to configure these settings. So to configure these settings, we have to go to SendGrid official website. So go to sendgrid.com and click on sign in. If you haven't signed up, please make sure to sign up. Okay, create an account with SendGrid. And for development or for developers, SendGrid also provide a free plan that is like 100 free emails per day. Okay, so those are more than enough for a developer to understand or to learn the uh, sending or receiving the emails. Okay, let me sign into my SendGrid account. Okay, this is my welcome dashboard. Now we have to create single sender. You can click this button and create a single sender means nothing but configuring a from email address. Okay, this won't be appear always. Okay, so in that case, what you have to do means go here, settings. Inside of the settings, you have a sender authentication. Okay, click on it. Okay, here you can see single sender verification and here verify an address. So click on the get started button. And here we need to fill up the create sender form. Okay, from name, it is like your from address, from email address name. Okay, and my from email address. Okay, for sending a email, we should have from email, right? So here we have to create the from email address. So for real time, we have to create a email based on our organization or a website, some based on business email. Okay. For demo, I am giving personal email. Okay. I will give same email address for a reply to as well. Here you can see attempting to giving the personal, which is not recommended. Okay. So for production to your website, make sure to give the some business email account. Okay. Use some dummy data. Okay, and give. Let's create the single sender verification. Okay, so here you can see an email has been sent to our from email address. So to make it activate as a single sender, it should be verified. Okay. So here you will get actions to resend the verification email account again. So first let's confirm the email. Okay. Here you can see SendGrid verification mail. So let's verify the single sender. Okay. Now if I reload here, it should show verified as a approved. See, verified. Okay. Now copy this email from email address and configure into our settings. And from name I have given like Naveen, this name. Okay. So here from name is optional only, from email is mandatory. Now let's create the API key. So to create the API key, go to same settings menu on right left hand side. Okay. And click on API key. Okay. And here you can create a API key. So give name to your API key. Okay. And click on the create API button, API key button. So copy the key because it will be shown only once. Next time it won't be displayed. Copy the key and save it into our application. Okay. And click on done button. So we are done with the SendGrid configuration, website configuration. Now we have from email and API key as well. Okay. Now let's create a controller for sending the emails. Let me create a controller like email controller. So here is our email controller. So before adding or diving into our controller logic, first let's register our SendGrid service in the program.cs file so it can be injected into the controller very easily. Okay, so go to program.cs file. So here let's register the SendGrid service. The dot services dot add SendGrid. Okay, let's import the namespace. SendGrid dot extensions dot dependency injection. So import it and options. And here we can specify or load the API key. Okay. So to get the API key, builder dot configurations dot get section and this main section name, add it here. Okay. Dot get value and the type string and the property name API key. Okay. Now go to our email controller and let's inject I send grid client. Okay. I send grid client. Okay. Like this, inject the I send grid client. Now, First, let's try to send some plain text as a email body. Okay, so let's implement a action method for sending the email. Okay, public async the task reaction result send plain text email. Okay, so I will decorate this method as HTTP GET and let's configure the route. Okay, send text mail. And for this action method, let's add a input method that is to email address. To which email address we want to send the email. Okay, so this is the user email. Okay, now first we have to read the app settings into our action method. For that, what I can do, I will inject I configuration. Okay, okay, so using this I configurations, I can load my JSON file settings. Okay, first let's load the from email address. So I configuration dot get sections. Okay, let's switch the section name and next dot get value. I want string type and here pass the from email property name. Okay, so it's going to load the from email from the settings. Same way we can get from name. So from name is totally optional. So let's configure it. Let's copy paste entire line of code and just change the property name from name. Okay, now we are loading required settings from the JSON. Okay, next let's initialize the SendGrid message object. Okay, so new SendGrid message. Okay, so let's load the namespace like SendGrid dot helper dot mail, and here let's configure the settings. Okay, so from email, from means from email, so that we can pass email address. Okay, and here email address for there is a overloaded method where it takes email and the name of the email. Okay, so from email and from name we can pass here. Okay, next subject, I will name it like plain text email. Okay, next content, so here we have a property like plain text content, so this is the body of my email. Okay, so I can simply pass anything. Okay, so this is the body of my email, plain text context. Okay, and next, so we have to specify the to address, right? For that message dot to add to. Okay, here we have to pass the email address, so I will pass to email. Okay, now we have to invoke the API call, so that SendGrid API call, so that message will be delivered to our user. Okay, for that where response equal to await SendGrid client dot send email async, it will take the SendGrid message object as an input parameter. Okay, so string dot message. So this message I want to return as a response from my API endpoint. So response dot is success status. Then I return email send. Okay. If it is false, then email sending failed. Okay. That is my response message written. Okay. Okay. That's it. This is my simple action method that going to send a plain text as a message to the user email. Okay. So let's run our application and try to check the email is sending or not. So here you can see our endpoint email dot send text email. Okay. So let's try to send an email. I'm giving my another email account to send it. So here I received email sent. Let's go to my email and check whether email is received or not. Okay, here you can see email is received, plain text email, subject and the body. Okay, so we are successfully send an email with the plain text as a body. Okay, now let's try to send an email with a HTML. Okay, most of the email today we are going to receive those are HTML based templated email. Okay, so let's try to implement one more action method for sending the HTML template based image. Okay, so for sending HTML template based image, first let's create a model. Okay, why that model means some of the content in that model will be dynamically binded to the HTML template. Okay, so let's create a folder like models and let me add model like superhero email. So here is our superhero email model. So let's add the required properties to it. I simply add two properties. One is like string name, name of the superhero. Okay, and public string to email, user email address. Okay, so these are the two properties of my superhero model. Now let's go to controller and create a private method for this demo. Okay, so for that private method will return a HTML formatted template. Okay, so for that public string email, so it will be a private method only, email HTML, and we are going to pass superhero model as a input to the private method. Superhero model, superhero email. Okay, so I have already added some HTML email template. Okay, let me add it here. Return our HTML. Okay, so it will be multi-line at the rate and paste the HTML template. See, some HTML has been added. No need to bother what I have added. I have added some test HTML so that it can be received by our email. And one thing we have to remember while creating HTML templates, you should encapsulate everything under HTML head and HTML body tag. Okay, HTML body tag like normal HTML page. If you don't specify this head and body tag, if you specify directly div tags, then your CSS or any styles won't apply. Okay, and the output also will not be as expected. We expect. Okay, so everything must be encapsulated under head and body. And here see, I have added a simple div and I have added a style tag for applying some styles to my email body. See here. So if I go top, you can see the style tag from here to here, ending of the style tag. Okay. So like this, we can add the HTML template. And here you can see I want to replace the name with the value inside of my model. For that, what I can do, dot replace. So like this, we can bind the dynamic data here. Okay, superhero dot name. Okay. Now let's create a one more action method for sending the HTML email. Okay, for that what I will do to save some time, let me copy this entire action method I have just created, right? Copy the entire action method that we have just created. Okay, now what I will do, it is like send HTML email. Okay, let's change the name HTML email here also HTML, and it will be HTTP post. Okay, I have some data to post, right? HTTP post, and the input parameter will be superhero model. Okay, and most of the content in the action method will be same. Here we have to change to email address superhero dot to email, and here instead of using plain text content we have to use another property like HTML content. Okay, to this HTML content we can assign the private method we have just created, email HTML, and to that method just pass the superhero. Okay, that's it. We are done with the post action method. So for sending the HTML, we have to use the HTML content. Okay, let's send the email and check whether we received a nicely formatted HTML email or not. Okay, so let's run the application. And before sending, let me also change the subject to HTML email. Okay, and here you can see our post email endpoint. Let's go there and test it. And here I am going to specify name like uh, I'm sending an Iron Man invitation mail to my email address. So this name value will be dynamically binded to our HTML. Okay, let's send it. And the email is sent and it is successful. See here, we got one more email and see nicely formatted HTML email I have received, and this is my dynamic data. Okay, so that is how we need to send an HTML email. And now next we want to send an email, okay, with image attached. Okay, means image means any file attachment. Okay, so let's implement one more action method that going to send the file attachments. Okay, so to do that, let's create a one more model like uh, email attachments. Okay, this is my email attachment class, and let's add properties in this entity. So I want to read file, right? I want to send a email that was uploaded by the, you want to send a file as attached that will be uploaded by the user. So for that, for reading a file upload, we have to create a property like public iForm file. Okay, so for my demo, just image file. Okay, next let's add another property like to email. Okay, so this is my email attachment model, and let's create a one more action method for sending the email attachment. So for that, let's copy this entire action method and duplicate it. Okay, most of the logic will be same, and let's change the action method name, send file attachment emails, send attachment emails, and here input object type will be email attachments. Okay, and attachments, and here let's change to address to attachments dot to email, and here for my demo let's instead of sending this, and for now let's send me the plain text as the content. Check attached file. Okay, and now to send the file attachments, either we can use property here like attachments. Okay, so for sending collection, so here you can send collection of files, or else we can use asynchronous way, that is like await message dot add attachment async. Okay, add attachment async is for single file. Since I am using single file, right? So this is helpful. If you want to do it for multiple files, add attachments. Okay, async, add attachment. So this is going to read multiple images. Okay, so since I want to send only single image, so add attachment async I am going to use. Okay, so here we have to pass the few configurations that are related to image. So we know that image information is available in the property image file. So what I will do, first property that it is expecting is name of the file, right? So attachments dot image file dot file name. Okay, so file name, and it is expecting stream of content, that is nothing but the image stream. So that is also we can get directly using the image file dot open stream. So it's going to push the stream to the variable. Okay, next its type. So attachment dot image dot content type will be the type, means either it is a JPG, PNG or PDF file format type. So disposition will be attachment. So we are file attachment, right? Attachment. Okay. So like this, we have to specify the attachment. If you want to send multiple files, then you have to use add attachments. Okay. And so that's it. And subject will be file attached. Okay. As simple as that. Sending a file is also very simple. Simply use the add attachments async file. Okay, now test our email. So this email we cannot test from the Swagger because we have to add some additional configurations to display the file upload button. So for time being, what I will do, I'm going to use the Postman. So here let's add our endpoint, and it is a post method. And here, so our Swagger, let's create the endpoint. Command email, and what is our action method route? Send attachment email. Okay, and inside of the body, click on body and select form data and specify the payload properties here. So what are my payload properties? Image. Okay, so image, sorry, key name image, and it is a file, not text, right? File. Okay, so it will give the choose button. And next property is to email. So to email and the address of user email address. And let me upload some image. So let me upload a image, something like this. Okay. So image is uploaded and formatted data, form data is selected and added the data. And one more change in our API, go to email controller and the payload must be read from the form. Otherwise, we are going to get the exception, file upload exception. Okay, now rerun the application again. Now click on the send button. Email. Let's test our email whether we received a email with the file attached in it. Okay, so let me go back. Here you can see with file attachment. I got the email. See here, I got email with file attachment. That means we are successfully done with different approaches like playtest, HTML content, and file attachment using the SendGrid. So that's all about sending an email from the .NET API using the SendGrid package. I hope this video has delivered some useful information to you all. If you like my video, please support me by subscribing to my channel. Soon we are going to meet with new videos. Until then, signing off.